Welcome to my channel and to Sketch With Me episode 5. Today I'm doing an oil sketch, and as always I sealed my paper with an acrylic primer before going over it with oils in order to ensure that the oils wouldn't ruin the paper. I'm using a reference photo that I found on Pinterest, and I was able to identify the photographer. Their name is Anka Zhuravleva. I'm probably butchering the name. I will link her website below. Typically I try to use royalty-free images if it's for work that I plan on selling or calling my own work, or I try to create my own images from my imagination. But for the sketchbook, I really like to leave myself open to whatever I feel like painting in it, since it's really just for me, and I have no plans on using these paintings as my own or selling them in any way. I know the topic of reference photography on the internet can be a bit controversial, but that's pretty much where I draw my own line. If it's work that I plan on selling or claiming as my own, I will try to find royalty-free images or create my own image from my head. And for images like this, I try to only use them for sketching or practicing purposes. So when I was choosing a piece for this sketchbook page, I was drawn to this one because it had a complicated composition. There's a lot going on. There's these blue rocks and these brown and gray tree roots here, and in one section there's even water. I'm not sure if you can see that in my painting. And to top it off, the figure had some peculiar angles and proportions that I thought would be challenging to capture. And it actually was. I spent probably half an hour sketching out my reference sketch that I do underneath the painting before I was happy with the way it represented the figure. I also went in Photoshop and brightened up the overall image so that it would be easier for me to differentiate between the colors and the different objects in the image, because the image was actually really dark and I felt like I was having a hard time using my eyes to tell the difference between what I was seeing, and I wasn't sure how well it would translate in paint as far as practice went for me. So I brightened it up and turned up the contrast. So my goal in choosing this more complicated image was to force myself to use broader brushstrokes, because this is a complicated image on a really small area, and so I would need to use broader brushstrokes and my creativity to convey what was going on without being able to do too much detail work. And it was actually really difficult. I think I've said this before, but I really struggle to add broad brushwork in. I get really stuck in details, and so practices like this are really good for me. And I did find myself going back and forth between getting lost in the details and overly stuck on things that were too minute to matter, and going back to much broader brushstrokes and swaths of color. Practices like this really push my technical skills and proficiency, and I think that this has been really good for me, because if you remove the aspect of creating your own image or creating a piece that you want to represent you, and just focus on trying to learn something specific, something tangible, it really helps focus in on the things that you need to improve, that I need to improve in order to better portray an image. And I think this will definitely help when it comes to creating images that are from my own head and to creating my own art. If you're an artist, I'm curious what your favorite way to practice these technical skills are. Do you do the same thing that I do, removing one aspect of the art process in order to focus on others, or do you have a different technique? I'm really curious to see what other people like to do. I don't know that many artists personally, so I'm always excited to get to know more of you out there. And that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like my content and want to see more. And I look forward to seeing you in future videos. Bye.